welcome to Editing with My Wife. I am the writer and husband, the Hooded Philosopher.
And I'm Cheesy, and it's a podcast where Hooded does not know how to write female characters and needs me.
So, let's explore this because I'm definitely going to need her now. But first, we do the recap.
Recap! I don't have the recap.
That's over here. Let's make sure everyone's caught up.
Alright, so in Chapter 2, Izzi opened the Brook to know what to do, got help from Renner, pulled some levers, got away. And where is this pan-cultural, ultra-dimensional communication apparatus, Zig, now? Well, they found Zig in Chapter 3. Izzi pulled the other siblings, learned they needed to work to get home. Goodness entered the flower. Trewn almost catches his prey, and the anchor turns foe to friend.
Goodness and anchor are both terms for Hannah.
Goodness and anchor are both terms for Hannah.
So, here we are. That's kind of what caught up. Anything else to say?
I hope there's a word of the day in here because we didn't really pick a word of the day.
We didn't, but I figured we could just let it come when you're not sure what that word is trying to say.
Yes.
Maybe it's not word of the day. Maybe it's just
word of the moment.
Yeah. What does this word mean again?
All right. Chapter 4. Otto looked over his siblings, wiped the tears from his face. He looked at Zig, then put his hand on his belly. After all that, I could eat. You're supposed to be reading the boys' lines.
Yeah, I do realize that.
Oops.
These aren't doing anything. Let's try that again. Let's start from the beginning. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Otto looked over his siblings, wiped the tears from his face. He looked at Zig and put his hand on his belly.
After all that, I could eat.
Renner broke out into laughter. Izzi followed. Hannah smiled at the two of them. Zig gave them a moment, then remarked,
"The forest is a forest of bounty. Venture forth and find my Zig tree. There you will find that bounty."
He stayed to see if there was any more questions, but the four of them were talking amongst themselves, so he nodded in appreciation of the love they shared, then disappeared. When they left the mountain, all four took in the fresh air and looked to the forest. The misshapen form of Trewn looming over it. The ring of justice rang out for all to hear. None of them knew what was in store, which made Hannah and Renner quiet. But Izzi was feeling chatty. "What do you think we're going to see? Like some sort of walking fruit and we'll have to chase it down? Or maybe like some kind of edible vine," she speculated. "Running fruit," Hannah repeated, giggling.
Let's just hold there. Talk about that. Because Hannah said that, I'm going to separate it out.
Yes.
I feel like I'm missing something here, just straight off the bat. Gave them a moment to catch their bearing, right? To gain their bearing. How do you say this? What did he give them a moment to do? Gather their thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh no, more like give them his attention. That's what the moment is for, because then when they go back to talking amongst themselves, he's okay with it and just goes away. So,
Clack, clack, clack.
I might have to edit that out. I would fart on camera. Okay. Oh.
They might not even heard it.
I can't quite type right now.
Why?
I don't know. I put M's where W's go. My mind is all backwards.
Upside down and left side right.
There you go. I think his dialogue here is missing something. The forest is a forest of bounty. Venture forth
and find my Zig tree.
New friends. And find my Zig tree. Zig tree. I think this is going to be better.
Bounty, bounty?
What do you think? The forest is a forest of bounty. Venture forth, new friends, and find my zig tree. There you will find a bounty fit for your heroism. That's all he's saying. And then, so he stayed to see if there was any more questions. After he was sure they'd understood, right? Because he's not leaving thinking they might not understand.
After he was sure they understood, he stayed to see if there was any more questions.
But the four of them were just talking amongst themselves, so he nodded in appreciation of the love they shared and disappeared. Okay, continue.
When they left the mountain, all four took in the fresh air and looked to the forest, the misshapen form of Trewn looming over it. You want to, like...
Yeah. All four took in a breath of fresh air.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, that's not even what I was talking about,
What?
but yeah, go for it, because I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's what we're... Oh.
I was thinking of Trewn. Do you want to, describe more of what Trewn looks like?
This is the deal with Trewn. Trewn is your imagination. He's made of a living metal, and that living metal is... I don't want to describe what the form it is, because it's a nightmare. It's scary. It's scary, and you want to fight it. It's not a healthy thing.
Then, if it's what we see, why is it misshapen?
Because it's always, no matter who you are, it's a misshapen form. It's not good looking. It's scary and grotesque and nightmarish. Like, it doesn't, unless there is a time in the future in which it stops doing its over time, but that's because of Hannah. Which I can say now because the flower has given her living metal. We showed that in the form of the anchors on their forehead.
Yeah.
So she has control over the living metal. So you can extrapolate and understand that maybe there's some connection now. Especially since she's immortal.
Okay.
So, what were we talking about?
I was just talking about the misshapen form of Trewn.
Because it's a very minimal thing I'm saying here about Trewn, and I want to expand it. I'm not 100% sure how.
Because what I imagine when you say misshapen is that it's unformed, or it's in mass swirling overhead, or it's just, it doesn't have a true form.
Yeah, there's no form. It's maybe even grotesque, I think, isn't a thing to say. Like, it's not, it's this, the idea of Trewn is you, when you look at him, you're supposed to be triggered instantly. He's not a good thing if you're a bad person. But if you're a good person, you don't care about how scary he is because you know he's not going to hurt you.
Okay.
And he puts out the ringing because if you're a good person, the ringing is good for you. But if you're a bad person, the ringing is really bad. And so it's kind of like individual dependent. Whoever you are and whatever you've done depends on how bad it gets.
Okay.
You know?
The ring of justice rang out for all to hear.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. None of them knew what was in store, which made Hannah and Renner quiet. But Izzi feeling chatty.
There.
Okay.
I forgot to add that back. Change it. So read from there again real quick. Just from
When they left the mountain, all four took a breath of fresh air and looked to the forest. The misshapen, grotesque form of Trewn loomed high above. The ring of justice rang out for all to hear. His ring of justice rang out for all to hear. Its ring of justice? Well, for them it wouldn't be devastating, and they're the only ones here right now, so would it be devastating?
What am I trying to get across here? It's like, it's not something you want to hear.
Even if it's good?
Yeah. You don't want justice even if it's good. Because that means something bad happened to get the justice.
You can always say it's ever present.
Ever damning.
But if it sounds good, it doesn't necessarily lend to damning.
But it does damn things. That's the point of it.
It does. does.
Ever echoing maybe would be better.
Yeah.
Ever echoing. I like that. And it's not something you hear very often. Like, I don't think I've ever heard that in a story. Click, 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 click.
Clackety clack clack.
Ever echoing ring of justice. Ring out for all to hear. Okay. None of them knew what was in store.
Don't mind the lawnmower.
I don't know that they're going to hear that. I don't think it's within the noise gate.
Okay. None of them knew what was in
It might.
store, which made Hannah and Renner quiet. But Izzi was feeling chatty. What do you think we're going to see? Like some sort of walking fruit, and we'll have to chase it down? Or maybe like some kind of edible vine? She speculated.
Well, I think I'm figuring out through your dialogue that I'm not getting the fact that she's not excited that she has to chase down fruit or eat a vine. and Izzy's just being kind of negative here a little bit.
Okay.
And to be funny, to be kind of funny, walking fruit's kind of a funny idea. Eating the vine, I mean, it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous.
Okay, so let's say like, what do you think we're gonna see? What do you think we're gonna see? Like some sort of fruit walking, some sort of walking fruit. We'll have to chase it down, or maybe some kind of edible vine that squirms or moves while we're trying to eat it.
Yeah, edible squirming vine.
Yeah, because if she's rolling her eyes,
yeah,
then,
she's not excited about it.
Yeah.
And then Hannah just likes the idea of running fruit.
And is
Hold on, I just realized something.
Clack, clack,
come
clack,
on, Tony,
clackety
type right.
clack. Clackety clack. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I just realized that. I didn't even think about it until now.
Cute. All right.
Except for I probably should spell.
I don't know about that. Running fruit, Hannah repeated, giggling. Would she be giggling, but it's kind of reserved?
Yeah.
So would you say, like...
I like reserved giggling.
That sounds like a challenge for common apostrophe. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. And then Otto says, whatever it is, I hope it's crunchy. Otto hoped.
They approached the edge of the forest, all of them salivating at the prospect of rest and something to eat. Renner walked through first, followed by the ladies, then Otto, who was holding the assault rifle attentively. As they wandered around, they began to hear the sounds of the forest. Small creatures abound in the forest floor and high up in the trees, leaving the middle ground for bigger predators. A loud rustling came from the bushes in front of them, and before they knew it, Renner was covered in a mass of black and gold fur. Then suddenly everyone felt the warmest sensation of love from the beast. The face with the glorious mane appeared out from Renner's chest. It was Bunker, bright-eyed and now looking for Izzi to jump on and show affection. Izzi tackled her. Then Bunker...
let's look at this.
Okay.
Because it's they're making sure that they're not going to get attacked, right? That's the idea.
Right.
They're being careful. They got the
Yeah.
ladies in the middle, and Otto and Renner are watching their back and in front.
Yes.
They wandered around, so they weren't sure where they were going. So they wandered around unsure of what they were doing, unsure of where to go, because they don't know where to go.
The Zig Tree. They know where
They know where. They don't know where that is though. He said, "Find my Zig Tree."
Okay.
Yeah, and that he brought Bunker up to help them. Unsure of where to go.
They began to hear the sounds. They began to hear the sounds of the forest.
Oh no! All right. They began to see the sounds of the forest.
Small creatures abound in the forest floor and on the forest floor. Not in the forest floor.
It is the in and on, like little burrowing creatures and stuff.
You could just say on.
Okay. Now, why don't you guys say something? I'd love to know if that's like a serious grammar thing, and I'm not really sure in or on works, because they are in as burrowing creatures, and that's kind of what I'm saying. They're in the foliage of the low bushes. They're in stuff. They're not on But they are on in the sense that the forest floor is a thing that they're navigating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in and on, and either one, I guess, would work. Leave a comment if you have an idea.
Well, and I'm thinking, too, you got high up in the trees, on the forest floor.
But I actually think I want to expand this, because we got creatures on the forest floor skittering around, right? And skittering around, making little noises, right? And high up in the trees... Okay. Cheesy's gonna go potty. She didn't want to tell you. Making little noises, and then what's the thing? What was it? High up in the trees. Yes, I don't need anything else. I just need to capitalize the H. High up in the trees. Another one. There we go. Birds sing. There. Lovely tunes. Leaving the middle ground for the bigger predators, like the one that is behind the bush. Before they knew it, Renner was covered. Okay. So, the shock of it all. Came quick. Comma. Before they knew it, Renner was covered in a mass of black and gold fur. And suddenly, everyone felt the warm sensation of love from the giant beast. The face was the face within the glorious mane appeared from out of Renner's chest. Is there a better way to phrase that, you think? And it was Bunker, bright-eyed, now looking for Izzi to jump and show an affection. Izzi tackled her.
Let me come over and read it again.
Yeah, for sure. I think I got a better little paragraph here.
Okay. I kind of heard it, so I'm going to read it here in a second. Then we'll get to Bunker.
I hope it's crunchy. Otto hoped feels wrong. Wished. We'll just do that instead.
Hungrily. Alright. They approached the edge of the forest, all of them salivating at the prospect of rest and something to eat. Renner walked through first, followed by the ladies, then Otto, who was holding the assault rifle attentively. Comment after Otto. As they wandered around, unsure where to go, they began to hear the sounds of the forest. Small creatures abound on the forest floor, skittering around, making little noises. High up in the trees, birds sang their lovely tunes, leaving the middle ground for bigger predators, like the one that was behind the bush now. A loud rustling came from the bushes in front of them. The shock of it all came quickly, and before they knew it, Renner was covered in a mass of black and gold fur. Then everybody felt Then suddenly, everyone felt the warmest sensation of love from the giant beast. The face within the glorious mane appeared from out of Renner's chest. It was Bunker, bright-eyed, and now looking for Izzi to jump on and show affection. Izzi tackled her.
That's Izzi. That's Izzi to a T too.
Yeah.
She's on it. She loves that dog. But she is like the female Renner in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Then Bunker, as if remembering being told, sent a feeling to all of them to follow. Bunker led them to the zig tree. All around the zig tree was a ring of large trees whose roots formed low seating, and even larger roots rose up to form some sort of table. Resting on the roots was all sorts of fruit. Upon closer inspection, Renner noticed they were growing out of the branches too. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like
Yeah.
the table has all these branches and just
There's fruit off that. There's fruit everywhere. Plenty to eat.
Yeah.
Plenty to eat. It's all mostly fruits and veggies, but...
Like, if you didn't look too closely, it may be like a normal setup table with fruit, but if you look real close, it's all still attached.
It's more like you look really close, it looks kind of like a tree, and then as you get into the right perspective, you see a table and fruit on the table and chairs nearby with big long backs. And actually, because they get into it, when they sit down, the leaves come down. So it's like there for them.
Yeah.
But that's Zig, right? That's what this whole thing is.
All right, so resting on the roots is also branches too. There are 8 different kinds of fruit. Otto grabbed one of each and found a seed on the roots. The rest of them found a seat as they sat. Light little branches came down behind them, giving them a chance to sit back and relax. Okay. As they sat, comma.
Does this kind of all make sense, though? It's hard to describe because it's not something we normally see. My imagination is saying that...
So the description of this whole table, yes, it makes sense.
Let me try writing it just so we're on the same page a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I have the table like this,
uh-huh,
and this is the table with the food on it, there's the Zig tree in the center, right? That's the bioluminescent tree where he'll stand anywhere in here.
Yeah.
And then there's seating all around the sides like this, but it's set up so that branches fall down when you sit down on it.
So at first it looks like a
this.
round picnic table with bench, but then when you sit down, the branches come down to support your back.
Yes, like the tree. When you push down on that branch or that seating area, it pushes down on something else that makes it kind of give you something to lean up against too.
Okay. Yeah,
it's
that's
magic.
That description, but okay.
Organic science.
So
organic
just
technology.
for editing purposes and reading purposes, the rest of them found a seat as they sat, comma.
I don't know. Oh, I could just. Can we? I don't know what to.
He's having problems with the clicker.
The thickness. There we go.
All right, so click your pointer tool again.
Good catch.
Okay, and then go down to where I've been saying. The rest of them found a seat as they sat, comma. Light little branches came down behind them. So, as they sat, comma.
It's more like that, isn't it?
Nope, you put the comma in the wrong spot. I want it after sat.
You're right, you're right.
Thank you, Lord of the Clacks.
Back.
Give me a chance to sit and relax. Zig appeared.
Please accept this bounty for all your aid in bringing me back from the brink of death.
I didn't know that you were going to die, Izzi said, shocked.
Uh-oh. I've been dormant many years, and if I cannot differentiate me from my nature, I cease to be, and nature will run its course. You do that.
Zig walked around to the other side where Hannah was picking at the cluster of red berries in front of her. Zig looked her in the eye.
How are you handling the...
He paused as he searched his mind for a missing word.
Gift.
He asked, without losing eye contact. She stared back. Then Izzi...
Hold on. She stared back. What does that say to you?
That is saying to me that she's still not dealt. What the hey?
That was weird.
The screen went white and we could not see any of the words.
Girl, they would see it.
Well, not on
Oh.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Is she angry? She stared back, her eyes small embers.
If it was flames, yeah. But, yeah, a little bit. She's thinking right now, this is the guy, he's asking me how my gift was, and it's going to make me outlive all of my siblings. And I'm going to watch them all die and leave them behind. It's not fire. It's like sad anger. There's nothing you can do about it kind of anger. But it happened, and you got to deal with it now. And that's what Zig is asking, basically. And she's responding to him with the eye stare, with this hot sadness.
Okay.
That's with the small embers. Like they would hurt and make her cry.
Hit enter. Then Izzi interrupted, as if just now noticing. I can barely feel you. She looked at Zig for an answer.
Rest assured, she has only gained an appropriate amount of control for one who has become immortal.
Hannah blushed when Zig said this. So, real quick.
Yes.
They can barely feel her.
They're just now noticing it, too.
Yes.
Once she got up. They should have known she was up. That's the crazy part. Hannah saw her. Izzi saw Hannah in her eyes before she realized that Hannah was standing.
Like she was looking to Hannah to be like,
this is it.
Yeah, and I want to see my sister's face.
At least before I die, before Trewn crushes me.
Yeah.
But they didn't feel her, and she's just now kind of realizing this. Holy crap. I spent my whole life, all 18 years, connected to this woman, and now I'm not, and I didn't even notice it. And that's because he says she's got control over it now. More control than she used to.
Okay.
So it's like there's maybe something that needs to be changed about that. You know?
I don't think there needs to be something changed about I can barely feel you.
Or maybe the boys need to say something.
Well, they're going to talk about it a little bit more as we go on.
That's true. The boy does say something.
The boys do say something. So go ahead and start with that line.
Yeah. What exactly does immortality entail? I should do that.
Renner asked a little callously.
Why is it callous?
Because his sister went through this whole traumatic thing, and maybe he's getting a little... You capitalized all that.
I know. He's exaggerating it.
And maybe it's a little bit of feeling from...
Like, he doesn't believe there's immortality. That's a fake concept. They grew up. The children don't think that immortality is a real thing. They've given up on it. They're 18 now. It's like they've learned the math and the science and all that immortality is nonsense.
Okay.
So Renner's like, what exactly is this immortality? That's not real, is it? You know? And it's callous because he wasn't taking into Hannah's emotions into effect, because normally he wouldn't have to, because Hannah would be sharing them. And now Hannah has more control, and so she's not sharing them, and he doesn't realize he's being callous. Because there's no feedback. And, yeah.
Hannah got up and walked away.
If I added...
Izzi followed her.
Just don't mind all the incredibly bad spellings and punctuations.
And the clack-clacks.
Clack-clack. You know, if you don't like the clack-clacks, please don't listen. If you're like a musophonic, I'm not making this for you. And if you're interested, go to YouTube, turn us off, and read it. It's right here. Watch us edit it. I don't know.
That sounded a little callous.
Yeah, in regards to you guys. But this isn't for you guys alone. This is mostly for me and her. I mean, we want you here, don't get us wrong, but... Is that not how you spell regards? There's no you. No, it's not guard. It's not guardian. Okay.
Renner asked a little callously in regards to Hannah's feelings. Hannah got up and walked away. Izzi followed her. Zig watched as they left the ring of trees. Ooh, okay.
He's being respectful.
Yes.
He didn't realize he was doing it either.
Zig watched.
He knew this human thing.
Zig watched as they left, pausing until they got out of earshot. Okay, the ring of trees is out of place, so you should switch them.
I totally didn't realize I did that. I was replacing it with that instead.
I see.
I think that's better.
So Zig watched as they left, pausing until they got out of earshot.
It means that no natural causes will kill her. Her physical form has transcended nature's grasp.
An unnatural silence pervaded the room. Zig continued. Instead of pervaded the room...
Zig changed the Subject, yeah.
Okay, instead of the unnatural silence pervaded the room, what... Because they're not really in a room, they're kind of out in the open.
Pervaded the space?
The air, the...
Oh, this is interesting.
An unnatural silence made the air a kind of miasma. Uh-oh.
Word of the day! This is actually an interesting word, and I don't know if I've spelled it right.
Well, it says you did, but...
And that's going to miss an A. But I'm going to go ahead and... what am I doing? I'll just type it into Google.
Just Google it.
We are going to Google a word. Maybe that's the segment. The segment's called Let's Google It.
Let's Google it.
All right, we're Googling miasma. So miasma is highly an unpleasant or unhealthy smell or vapor. Like they don't even want to breathe the air anymore. It's so kind of toxic. And that's why he changes the subject, right?
Yeah, that's,
like,
that's
okay,
why.
let's stop off of this. Okay, so that's eloquent. Where did I put it?
An unnatural silence made the air a kind of miasma. Zig changed the subject.
No, that is Zig. Otto, have you tried opening a periscope to the other world?
Otto made a rectangle between his thumb and his forefingers, then expanded it in a way he had done time and again. It opened to the other Zig, only this Zig had no Zig mist coming out of the walls.
I know, but I'm realizing I never said Zig mist coming out of walls. There is a place where Zig mist spills out of walls, but this should be the tree, right?
Yeah.
Because they're in the forest. In the cave, there's a section where once they get the power running, the Zig mist can flow, and it's all around the walls, so he can just be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It opened to another Zig. Period. Only this Zig had no Zig mist coming out of the Zig tree.
Zig, zig, zig.
Zig, zig, zig. But it's not...
It's not bad because we're talking about different kinds of Zig stuff. You got the Zig tree, Zig mist, and Zig himself.
Yes. Did you ever explain what Zig stands for? Or was it just...
it's not where it doesn't stand for anything. It where I got it is different. But the reason why it's just ZYG, I think, it has something to do with like where he comes from.
Okay.
And if I got into that, I do get into that book, so we can get into that when it comes up.
Okay.
But.
And then Zig says, Zig tree.
Yeah, Zig tree. Don't go in there.
Zig shouted before disappearing. Before disappearing?
Yes.
He just straight up disappears?
Mm-hmm. He's just now realizing it.
Otto closed the periscope.
Oh.
Clackety clacks. Clackety clack. Don't talk back. Confustion?
Confustion. I do that all the time.
Alright. Otto quickly closed the periscope, looking at his brother with confusion and concern.
Okay, so I think what we need to do is actually have a section here, because right after that, we can switch over to Izzy's point of view, because what happens after it is kind of a fun thing, right? No.
Yeah, that's not a bad place to, like, do
the scene cut to Izzy herself and talking with. So what I do is
character switch,
a perspective shift. Yes. So what we can do real quick is right now, Izzy followed Hannah. Izzy's behind Hannah, and Hannah stops at a tree and starts crying.
All right, type it. Type away. Can I have the nail kit?
It's like let's push forward and kind of do the whole thing, and then I'll write it all at once.
Okay.
She's gonna stop and start crying, and Izzy's gonna console her. Maybe come up and rub her back. Is that weird?
No, it's not weird. It just is. It kind of depends on how Hannah gets consoled. Is rubbing her back a thing? Is it they just sit next to each other and wait to see what they need?
Hannah needs touch.
Hannah needs touch. Okay.
She's got all the other parts, emotion and intellect.
So
with their siblings.
Does Hannah sit down? Does she collapse down onto her knees? Does she stay standing, putting her hand up against a tree to brace herself? what kind of thing would Hannah do in your head? Because this will inform me on how to...
There's this problem of she has control. So she's not going to, like, collapse or anything. It's more like now she has to process this horrible idea with her sister. This idea that she's going to outlive them.
Yes.
And her sister's falling behind and encouraging her doing it. And, like, having to be around her must not feel good right now.
Well, okay, so...
permanently sucks.
So my thought is that Izzi comes up to her, stands beside her, arm over her shoulder, and hugging her to her side. So Hannah still has a way to get out if she needs to, or can fully envelop into this hold on her choice. So Izzi, like, I feel like Izzi would give her that ability to leave that space if she needed it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because Izzi can't quite fully feel her, she wants to make sure she's not overstepping some bounds. Clack, clack, clack. What we got? Air feeling eking out in the form of tears. Disease. And there's some ideas brewing in my head here about what Hannah could possibly say.
Give me one sec. I got it great here. I'm almost there.
He's got it great, guys. He's got it great. Cue the elevator music.
Okay.
All right, let me see what you got. Izzi followed behind Hannah, who stopped abruptly, her feelings eking out in the form of tears. Izzi's concern all her own. This is going to take some getting used to, she said, embracing her sister from behind. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. And I was thinking something to the effect of, like Hannah said, I know I did it to save everybody, to get us all home, but I didn't know at what cost this would come. You see what I'm saying? She's gonna... Trewn explained everything. Okay.
Remember when she was like,
I understand.
I'm understanding now. It's because Trewn was talking to her.
Okay. She's now got to start, at this point, she's got to verbalize her emotions. So you want her to have a little bit of anger, a little bit of sadness, maybe some relief that everybody's okay for now. But they're still not home. There's still more work to be done. Mm-hmm. This is never going to feel right. I knew it would save us. True explained everything, but she sniffed. Or maybe Izzi right here is like, I wish Zig told us more. So that way their decisions were... I wish he told us more. I would have sent in Renner. But Renner wouldn't have been the most good.
It's no, she's just trying to make her laugh. She wouldn't actually have sent in Renner. They all knew it was Hannah.
They all know.
And Hannah knows it's Hannah.
Yeah.
It's like she's the only one that, I mean, if it's pure goodness, it's Hannah.
Yeah.
And everyone knows it. Like, even like Katie would have said that. Both their parents would have said that.
Yeah.
It's Hannah. And Hannah knows it, so...
Or maybe you can tap in here a little bit. Maybe something that Trewn explained a little bit jokingly back. Oh, if Renner had stepped in, he would have gone mad. Or something, silly. Awkwardly? Aqua? She laughed awkwardly.
How do you do awkward?
A-W.
A-W. Wow. Oh, wow. That was bad.
Awkwardly.
Oh, I don't know. She needs to interrupt Izzi, and I'm trying to figure out what Izzi needs to say to get interrupted by. She needs to bite a little bit.
Reveal. I think you would have to reveal what would happen if someone that wasn't goodness go in a little bit if you're going to do a bite.
I don't know that it matters. That's the point.
Well, you're saying a bite back, so that would be a bite back. But Renner would have been influenced poorly, or
it's
like what would happen?
The bite back is but he's going to outlive. I'm going to outlive you all. The bite back is I have to survive you guys. I'm going to watch you guys die. And I don't think it's going to end well. I think Izzi's crying in the next scene because she was cut off by her sister and she doesn't feel it. It's all weird and wrong.
Okay.
And Hannah will eventually come back, but it takes a second after some serious trauma like that.
Oh, you could say, but regardless, one of us would have had to watch the other three die.
Yes. It's more like, what is she going to interrupt? What is she interrupting? What's the thought that Izzy's saying that's going to interrupt it? How does it start at least so I can make it interrupted?
Oh,
because it's like, okay, so I wish Zig would have told us more, and then we could have just sent in Renner, but I could just ... there. But what?
I don't think there needs to be an interruption. I think she's just trying to make a small joke,
but no, Hannah needs to interrupt. So Hannah's a little bit frustrated and angry about the situation, and so when Izzy comes to her with a joke, Hannah's like, not right now. But she isn't that kind of person. She's just going to snap a little bit of anger out. Just be like, I'm the one that's going to outlive you all, and that's not something I want.
Well, okay.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Okay, do me a favor real quick. Erase the butt. Okay, hit enter. And type in, but regardless, one would watch the other three die. Right? That's the bite back. You're changing it. Regardless, I'm going to watch you all die. And we'll never have it again.
What were you trying to say?
Well, because she said that I would have sent in Renner.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that no matter who went in there, one of the four would have to watch the other three die. It didn't matter who went in there. Someone was going to have to watch everybody die. Regardless, I'm going to watch you all die. And looking at what we just went through, it could be...
Yeah. She isn't aware of her power yet.
It could be soon.
She isn't aware of her power yet.
Yes.
She thinks they might die soon because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But that's not a snap.
What? Okay. Right, but... Well, because you retyped it.
This is leading up to it. There's a little bit of an argument. When normally there was clarity, now there's less. She doesn't know how Hannah's feeling, and Hannah's not telling her. And Hannah won't tell her, because she will eventually feel it again.
Okay, regardless, I'm going to watch you all die. And looking at what we just went through, it could be soon. And now I just feel so alone. Or for the first time, I feel so alone. I mean, because she can't...
Alone is definitely
I mean, it has two meanings. She feels alone. Normally she has her siblings to help her feel her feelings with her, but now she feels alone in both she can't output her feelings and no one else has this ability. Right? Why? What's going on?
What were you saying? I'm not sure what to type.
I feel so alone. Something to that effect. Maybe if we were alone but together, we can do anything. So Izzy's saying maybe if we were alone but we're together, we can do anything. And I think tried to encourage, comfort, tried to encourage. I feel alone, and maybe I need to be alone. Alright, make sure you put the H in Hannah. You're doing so well! I see like 3 Hannahs up there and only one of them has no H. Hannah sobbing, tears welled up in Izzy's eyes as she turned away and walked back toward the zig tree. Okay.
I'm Trewned.
Yes, I was going to comment on your Trewn. You love Trewn.
I do. He's a good creature.
Okay. So real quick, while we're here, Hannah,
I'm working on it.
Some H's.
Awkward.
Awkwardly. Oh, there's 2 W's in awkward.
Hey, just like our name.
Okay. Izzy followed behind Hannah, who stopped abruptly. Her feeling eked out in the form of tears.
Feelings, possible, but multiple.
Feelings eked out in the form of tears.
Well, really, only.
Her feelings only eking out in the form of tears. Izzy's concern all her own. This is going to take some getting used to, she said, embracing her sister from behind. This is never going to feel right. I knew it would save us. Trewn explained everything, but she sniffed. I wish you would have told us more. I would have sent in Renner, she laughed awkwardly. I wish Zig told us more. I would have sent in Renner, she laughed awkwardly. Regardless, I'm going to watch all you die. And looking at what we just went through, it could be soon. Hannah started crying harder. Maybe if we were alone, but we're together, we can do anything, Izzy tried to encourage. I feel alone, and maybe I need to be alone, Hannah said, sobbing. Tears welled up in Izzy's eyes as she turned away and walked back towards the ring of trees.
Much better, and I didn't capitalize Hannah's. Sorry, Hannah. Such a pretty name, Hannah. Okay. Back. And like that's the thing that happened. So that way there's no confusion.
So Izzy walked back into the room, which we kind of took away the word room. So how would you say that instead? Instead of saying ring of trees again. Yeah. Izzy walked back into the boys.
Back to the boys.
Back to the boys.
Yes, into them. She just walked into them. She did a reverse wench. She pulled herself into them.
Izzy walked back to the boys, tears streaming down her face. She took a seat and began eating the rather juicy fruit. Hannah took a deep breath to hold back the tears as she appeared from behind the trees. You. Oh, adding. As she appeared from behind the trees a short while later. Ooh. Yes, gotta add a little bit more time while she's out there.
Slillins.
And the 8.
Is there no C? It's science with a C, that's right.
They ate and sat in silence, but you have the 8.
The 8.
The 8?
Yeah, the 8. The 8. THE 8.
They ate and sat in silence. Hannah took a deep breath to hold back the tears as she appeared from behind the trees a short while later. And tag your it.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. Laters. Liquid time.
She sat down and began to pick.
Breeze.
Good.
Bear.
BER.
E. 2 E's.
What in the hell?
2 E's.
What?
No. 2 R's.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah. Well,
We can't even
not all of
spell
us
the
are great at
word
this.
berries. Okay. Izzy walked back to the boys, tears streaming down her face. She took a seat and began eating the rather juicy fruit. They ate and sat in silence. Hannah took a deep breath to hold back the tears as she appeared from behind the trees a short while later. She sat down and began to pick at some berries.
When Hannah was in the flower, we all heard and felt the agony. I just want you to know that whatever happened, you're a hero. You saved our lives.
Renner concluded, taking a bite of a rather fibrous fruit to break the silence. Otto spoke up.
You're our anchor.
Hey,
we need
hey.
you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I got ahead of you.
You got way ahead. Otto
It's a
spoke up.
sentence.
Otto spoke up, his face a mess of fruit juices.
You are our anchor. We need you now more than ever. It's starting to get real crazy out here.
Izzy watched Hannah's smile glow.
That's Izzy, isn't it? No, that's
We're
Renner.
Otto still.
Hannah, I want you to know. I want to thank you for what you were going through to keep us.
Oh,
This is Zig.
This is Zig. Zig left
There you
though,
go.
so
Did he?
yeah, he left.
No.
Before disappearing.
Where?
Up.
Oh.
So
Then I need to do this.
yeah, you need to add Zig coming back. Zig reappeared under his tree.
Hannah, I want to thank you for going through that to keep your siblings safe. Now for you, he said. Oh, go ahead.
He said, looking at Renner.
In order to get you wonderful humans back to Earth, we need some materials from the stump deeper in these here forests. In there is another gift. One not so painfully existential.
Zig walk over to Bunker.
Bunker will take you there when you are ready. And I'm sure you all have noticed animals sending out feelings, telling you what it wants. Although language is a feature of sapience, communication is very much an important part of nature. If you allow it, any animal on my part of nature will be able to communicate its wants. Except for the event. Their madness is unholy.
Okay. So before we move on, can you move the cursor real quick?
Yes.
Okay. In order to get you wonderful humans back to Earth, we need some materials from the stump deeper in these forests. In there is another gift, one not so painfully existential. Zig walked over to Bunker. Bunker will take you there when you are ready. As I am sure you have all noticed, animals send out a feeling telling what it wants. You didn't read it right, so I had to reread it in my head.
Okay.
Although language is a feature of sapience, communication is very much important part of nature. If you allow it, any animal on my part of nature will be able to communicate
its wants. Except the event.
See, I like what you have typed there. I just didn't like how you said it.
It's fine. I was trying to read it and say it at the same time.
You got to learn how to do that.
Is this mission safe?
Renner asked.
It's backwards on the script, just so you know. It says Renner asked, is the mission safe?
Zig answered.
You children of Earth have an uncanny proclivity to ask the most complicated questions at the most contextually deficient times. I made that weapon you're holding because of where you need to go.
He pointed at the assault rifle leaning against the tree.
However, I'm confident Hannah will keep you safe. He reached down and gave Bunker's back. You have Bunker spelled properly there. Well, it probably auto-corrected, right? A much-needed scratch. I spoke of the event before. These creatures, stone, half your height, they carry shards of glass and metal in both of their hands in order to stab into living flesh. They can run faster than you can run. They consume living flesh. They are many, and they've been trapped for far too long. Be aware these creatures of stone can only be harmed by metal.
He gestured again to the gun resting against the tree. Otto nodded to Zig as if to explain his role in this.
His understanding of his role in this.
Otto nodded to Zig as if to explain his understanding of his role in this. Zig understood, saying,
Eat and rest here. If you feel you need to sleep, seek high branches. I will go ahead of you and try to help you surprise attack them.
Izzi asked, why are they on you?
They were my former crew. When conscious beings die, the consciousness must exist. When normally on a planet, it is recycled and even upgraded. But after thousands of generations for them to sit and think about it, they are but monsters. They have lost their sapience.
Zig sounded for the first time contrite. Bunker licked his face, sending swirls around his cheeks. After it all swirled back into shape, he was smiling.
Thank you, Bunker,
he said, scratching behind her ears. And then in an instant, he was gone. The four of them ate to their heart's content, made merry conversation, and found their beds in the branches.
Oh, and prepare.
And be prepared.
And prepare a surprise attack for them.
And prepare a surprise attack them? What are you trying to say there? And
for them.
And to prepare a surprise attack for them. Okay.
Because he's got to go set up some things in this big place, which is gonna be fun. But then as he asks, why are they on you? That's an interesting question.
They were the former crew. When conscious being die, the unconscious mind.
Is there a word in there? Is there some concept missing in here?
Let me read this real quick.
Oh, okay.
When conscious beings die, the consciousness must exist. When normally on a planet, it is recycled and even upgraded. But after thousands of generations for them to think about it, they are but monsters. They have lost their sapience. So basically, there's nowhere for their consciousness to go.
Yes, and normally there's some entity helping recycle and even upgrade. I think that's what's missing there.
Okay.
Normally on a planet is what he's trying to get across. There is an entity.
Yeah.
There is a system in place to recycle and even upgrade.
But here,
conscious.
You have it right there. CONSCIOUS.
This is a big word.
There's an 8 in there. But here, after thousands of generations, So put but here, or but on the ship, or but on me. Something to denote that on the ship it's a little different.
Also, he's
However,
different ways talking.
Yes. Well.
However, after thousands of generations, for them to think about it, they are but monsters.
Okay.
They have lost their sapience.
Okay, hold on. I said a key point here.
What did I miss?
On this ship.
Oh, yeah. Ow!
However, on the ship, after thousands of generations for them to think about it, they are but monsters. They have lost their sapience. Zig sounded for the first time contrite. Bunker licked his face, sending swirls around his cheeks. After it all swirled back into shape, he was smiling.
Let me just say, sapience and contrite. Those are some pretty complicated words. Sapience is?
Sapience is the ability to know you're thinking, basically?
Kind of. It's the thing that separates us from the animals.
Yeah.
And, contrite.
Contrite.
I think when you own your shame, you feel contrite. I'm going to double check that. Where is that word?
Why can't... It's right there.
We are going to look up the word. Google.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm being lazy. Oh, it's not even doing what I want. Go away.
Yeah.
You.
Lazy.
Well, perhaps I should feel some contriteness.
Hooded doesn't like to type anymore, and he was trying to do quick, easy.
Remorse or penance. After feeling guilt.
Feeling or expressing remorse or penance.
Regret.
Affected by guilt.
These are people he took on, intended to help keep alive and help sustain them, and then something happened. They all turned into monsters, sadly. And it's like a good enough reason to kill them and not allow them to be people anymore. They're just monsters, like, honestly. And it's a legitimate explanation. When you lose your sapience, you're just an animal. You're not a human anymore. You're not a being anymore.
Yeah. They have lost their sapience. Zig sounded, for the first time, contrite. Bunker licked his face. And I like Bunker doing that, licking his face.
The swirl of smoke. And then the smile coming after. It's like,
yeah.
Bunker forgives him.
Thank you, Bunker, he said, scratching her behind her ears. And then in an instant, he was gone. The four of them ate to their heart's content, made merry conversation, and then found their beds in the branches. Okay. So...
The leaves high in the tree are soft as down, as big as blankets. The four of them slept well, knowing tomorrow they would be home. Just so you know, that's the end of the chapter.
That is the end of the chapter.
I'm fairly certain. There's too much of a gap for it not to be.
Yeah. So here's a couple of things. The four of them ate to their heart's content. And merry conversation. They made merry conversation. Is
that too gay?
No.
I didn't mean that in any kind of derogatory sense.
I'm thinking there's still some worry. They slept well knowing tomorrow they would be home. They don't 100% know they'll be able to get through the Everent. So it shouldn't be too much jovial. It shouldn't be too much happiness going on. There should be a little bit of worry.
You're absolutely right. It's definitely... They ate to their heart's content and tried to make merry conversation.
Yes. Yes, that would be much better.
Okay.
And tried to make merry conversation.
And then maybe hoping they would be home tomorrow.
And hoping they would be home
tomorrow. The hope would definitely help you.
Yes.
Tried to make.
The four of them slept well with the hope.
And see, this right here, this part of this sentence here is my voice. I'm trying to be very clear and very direct about it.
The leaves high in the tree were as soft as down and as big as blankets. The floor slept well with the hope that tomorrow they would be home. Tomorrow they would be home.
All right.
What are you feeling?
We need to do a summary piece. Excuse me, I have the burps all over the place.
You're the burpiness.
Oh, I've just been drinking energy drinks. We had the one muffin cake. That's all I've eaten. Okay.
Why is your one backwards on this paper?
I don't know. I always write ones backwards. I think that's the right way. Why don't we start it on a new one and write a space for 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go like that. For those of you that are listening, you wouldn't even know if you were seeing. Never mind.
Yeah. So
I'm pointing on the page.
okay, so real quick, before I do that, I will write on this page, and then we can...
Or how about this? You start a new one.
Okay, yes.
Instead of using that one, use this one.
But I would want to rewrite all this.
Yes, that's what I mean.
But I can't plan that out without knowing what how big the other ones are.
Anyway, we could just... well, yeah, just do what you're going to do real quick.
Okay. So...
I don't know how to vamp, so you guys are going to have to suffer with some silence. Maybe I'll put some music under it.
There's no silence here. Scroll back up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah, we could actually do it that way, too.
Yeah, we can scroll back up.
Or what if we just start all the way over? Just since we're kind of redoing and this is the great idea, we start with the first part. Number 1. What's the first thing that happens in the story?
The birth of the twins.
Yeah, that's great. Twins are born.
Twins are born.
Renner gets a puppy.
That's
that too detailed.
That's too detailed.
Yeah, I don't know if twins are born could be a fine place to start, but after that, it's mom gets taken over.
Mom comes back evil.
Mom comes back evil.
Evil. Dad tries to stop Izzi.
See, that's what I was saying. Probably a different one.
Well, just trust me. Izzi disappears with the help of a box. And then chapter 2. Izzi opens Brook for info. Then we have gets Renner to help.
Pull some levers.
Pulls levers.
Found Zig. That's the next chapter.
The next chapter is found Zig and gets away. Barely gets away. Barely gets away. Then chapter 3 was finding Zig. Twins reunite.
Mission set.
Goodness enters flower.
Oh wait, you're right.
Enters flower. The Trewn almost catches his prey. Prey. Yeah.
That can end there, right?
And Anchor turns foe to friend.
So then the next chapter here, which I'm calling A Moment's Rest.
Foe to friend. A Moment's Rest.
Because their next mission is pretty terrifying still, even though they have all the aid they can get from the other ones.
So, A Time to Dine.
What?
A Time to Dine.
Oh. Mission. Then he gave them a mission. No, because Anna and Izzi first.
Yeah.
Anna and Izzi.
Hannah and Izzi. Hannah and Izzi. Convo.
It's more than a convo. It was more like fought a little bit. Like, this is the first time these kids have ever fought with each other. Okay. They don't fight. They never fought. They were friends. They never had a reason to. Their family was good. They had all the money they need. There was no reason for them to fight. They were never in contention because they were so harmonious together.
Right. A plan set, and a rest much needed. Yeah?
Yeah.
Was there something you would add?
That sounds good. No, it's a pretty good summary. We'll just throw that right on to the next beginning of the next video. So thank you everyone for listening. Do the liking and the commenting and subscribing if you like it. Let us know what we're doing. If we suck, then let us know we suck. And if we suck, then I don't think we care because we're having fun. We don't need to be awesome. Whoa! Where did it go? That's not good. I was moving and it just disappeared. Just kidding.
Look at the spirally funness in the background while he figures out what he's doing.
Be careful, don't get hypnotized. It does that to me on occasion.
It's so pretty. It's pulling me in.
Alright, here we are. Chapter 5. There's the book back in. Zoom back in.
Zoom back in.
And that's the edit point.
That's the edit point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Comment specifically, really. We want to hear more about this story. What do you guys think? I need to go to the apps and actually hit the button. That's the problem.
Yes.
I got things covering the apps. Bye. Love you.